Hey kids, welcome back to BEFREE Friday, and I wanted to show you some plants that are growing in my backyard. Now, a lot of times the plants that grow in the backyard are edible, and we can just pick them and eat them. A lot of times the plants that are growing in the backyard are definitely not edible, but that doesn't mean they're not useful. Today's example is known as white snake. No, not that white snake. Not the one that your mom used to dance to when she was younger. The white snake that we're talking about today is called white snake root, and its main uses are the fact that it can bring not plants, but it can bring insects to your garden. So you will find them in open areas, and they draw insects, other what we call pollinators. Now, a lot of good ways to bring pollinators to your garden is just to plant flowers around your garden. But this is a natural way to do it, where you don't have to bring in another invasive species. Now, this is not invasive. It's a natural to this environment, and let's take a look at it. This is white snake root. Now, if we take the same lessons that we had from knowing what hemlock is as opposed to Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace is a wild carrot, but hemlock is not a wild carrot, but can look like a wild carrot in its early stages. There are some indicators here that this is a poisonous plant. So we're going to get close, and I'm going to put my hand behind here so the camera will focus. Can you tell me what the indicator that this is a poisonous plant? Notice the color change here at the stem. So here at the stem, we have a color change from green to purple. No spotting like you would see on a wild hemlock or a water hemlock, but still the same indicator of this purpling. Now, the poison that's inside of this plant is called trematol. And it causes, just like it says, it causes tremors. Now, another way to figure out whether this is wild white snake root is, notice it has alternating leaf patterns. So it grows 2 leaves, and then it alternates to the opposite side by 90 degrees, another 2 leaves, and then it alternates to the opposite side, another 2 leaves. And it always keeps that pattern. Even when it makes branches, its branches do the exact same thing, alternating 2, 2, and 2. Now, white snake root was used by Native Americans for years as a way to take care of unwanted pregnancies, and it was also used to treat some stomach issues. But the benefits of this plant are few and far between compared to the risk of overtoxication. So it's a very, very toxic, poisonous plant. So we want to avoid this. But the big thing about it is it does produce really nice flowers that have a strong scent, and these draw in insects. So having it around is not a bad thing, it's just not something you want to consume. And also, once you touch it with your bare hands, you do also want to wash your hands. Now, another way to tell this apart from other wild edibles, most wild edibles actually have hair. And notice, this stem is completely smooth, no hairs. Here growing next to it, we have what's known as 3-seed Mercury. And it's called 3-seed Mercury because it puts out next to each leaf 3 seeds. Now, I think it's Virginicum, and something else is its scientific name, but I can't remember it. This one was bug-eaten. Now, normally, when you see bugs eating a leaf or a plant, that usually means that it's safe for you to eat. Now, that is not the case here. Now, 3-seed Virginicum, or 3-seed Mercury, is not particularly poisonous, but it'll make you throw up. So, its use, as far as being used as a medicine, has been just for that. Sometimes you eat something that just doesn't do well, and you need to throw up. So that's what this is called. That's what this was used for. So we just go ahead and leave it be. Now, all of these plants are fine to touch. You can touch them all you want. Just make sure, for many of them, wash your hands afterwards. There are a couple of plants out there that if you touch, you're gonna get sick. So you need to know which ones those are. Luckily, I don't have any of those growing here. But right next to our white snake is 3-seed Mercury. A cousin to 3-seed, sort of a cousin. They grow right next to each other, and you usually find them right next to each other. Now, during the holidays, you're gonna have this plant all over your grocery stores and Walmarts. But this is the wild version of it. This is a poinsettia. You notice them bulby looking seeds that are on it. Now, to anyone else, this might look inviting, especially if you're really hungry, but this also is deadly poisonous. This one will shut down your heart. Poisonous plants have a tendency to come in threes, so we had white snake root, we have the 3-seed Mercury, we have our wild poinsettia, but also right next to it, elephant foot, also known as Carolina's elephant foot. Now, a long time ago, this plant was used to treat asthma and chest pain, but nowadays we know that the treatment was just as bad as probably the thing causing the chest pain, and definitely worse than the asthma. While you get temporary relief to your symptoms, you also get filled with a poison known as strychnine. Now, it's called elephant's foot. If you notice, it grows with a big stalk and the flowers at the top, but these big broad leaves at the bottom, making it kind of have the appearance of an elephant's foot. It's got a big wide foot at the bottom of big leaves. Now, again, another plant that you can touch, but you want to wash your hands after you handle it. And make sure you wash your hands really good. While all of the plants here might not have a use, it doesn't mean that they're useless. They do a good thing in keeping the soil held to the ground. So their main job is to bring bugs and hold the soil to the ground, because without them, the soil would erode and it would wash down this hill. It's actually going downhill here. And all that soil would run down that way, taking all the nutrients with it. So get to know your plants, know their uses, and also be able to identify them, because you never know. You might have to survive alive. But until then, stay safe, don't die.